All right, let's move on to our second stay away, avoid this person in your drafts. That is Keenan Allen.
My guy. I love Keenan Allen.
Yeah, love him so
Just not
much.
this year.
Yeah, right. Our consensus 63rd overall player, my 64th, Alex's 65th. Huge discrepancies in our rankings here. ESPN has him at 43rd overall.
Yikes.
So again, we're talking 20 picks higher on this guy, a round and a half higher. Thank God the world siding with the Sackos on this one. His average draft position, well, not so much. It's lower than ESPN's. It's just not nearly. It's not in the 60s. His average draft position is right at about 50. He's going as the 20th wide receiver off the board currently. He was 2019's wide receiver 8. He finished with 149 targets, 104 catches, just shy of 1,200 yards, and 6 touchdowns. I am not excited for Keenan Allen, even a smidge. As long as Tyrod Taylor is the quarterback, and people can maybe try and talk me into Justin Herbert, but like he's not Joe Burrow, he's not Kyler Murray. Like,
he was drafted as a project to sit there for a year.
Yeah.
You don't want him being the quarterback.
If he's a quarterback,
if you have Keenan Allen, you do not want a rookie project to be the starter.
Yeah, so I'm assuming it's a full season of Tyrod. Now, to get an idea of how Tyrod can do in supporting a wide receiver 1 overall, I took the esteemed pleasure of looking at the very, very potent 2015 and 2016 Buffalo Bills offense.
I did the same thing, and I literally have it all written down, and it hurt so hard to look at it. It was so bad.
We got to tell the people these illustrious stats
bad.
that are going to prop up.
Don't do it.
Keenan Allen is a wide receiver 1. He completed 269 out of 436 passes, 62% completion for a whopping 3,023 yards. This is 2016. He threw for 17 passing touchdowns and 6 picks. 2015,
sounds like the Bears quarterback on an annual basis.
242 passes completed out of 380, just about a 64% completion percentage. A whopping 3,035 yards. Hot stuff. 20 touchdowns, 6 picks. And then I looked at his number 1 receivers in those 2 years and where they finished. Bob Woods in 2016 had a line of 76 targets, 51 catches for 613 yards and 1 score.
Sorry, you said that was their leading receiver.
Yes, their leading receiver in 2016. Put up a whopping 92.5 points in half PPR scoring. Would have finished as wide receiver 66 last year. And that's Robert Woods, who is ranked inside like the top 15 everywhere this season. He had a whopping 17% target share, so he didn't really lock onto him. I will concede Sammy Watkins a la 2015. He went for 96 targets, so still like 50 targets shy of guys that we're talking about being drafted around where Keenan Allen is currently going. 50 targets less. Sammy Watkins' line from 2015 was 96 targets, 60 catches for just over 1,000 yards, 1,047, propped up by 9 touchdowns in 13 games. He had 188 points in half PPR, would have been wide receiver 17 last year. Granted, that was in 13 games. In a 16-game season, assuming he kept up that pace for another 3 games, it would have been insane. He would have finished as a top 3 wide receiver last season. However, I found this. He had a 25% target share, which is obscene. It's like that's extremely high. So good for Sammy Watkins in 2015. I'm glad that he was able to command that target share. However, there's this beautiful quote from Watkins Through the first 5 games of the 2015 season, Sammy Watkins, who only played in 3 of the games because of a calf injury, had just 7 catches for 99 yards. He voiced his frustration before Game 6, saying, "You came up to draft me and I'm not getting targets. That's a problem. You're making me look bad and you're making yourself look bad. Why not make both of us look good?"
It's a good quote.
That's
a really good quote.
That's a wide receiver 1 from Tyrod Taylor, who went on to just light the world on fire after that quote.
Is that why you told me this before? I think you told me that exact quote before we started recording today.
I believe so.
Yeah.
So, like, I have no confidence. I have no confidence. Keenan Allen is fantastic. You know who's not fantastic? Tyrod Taylor. Like, the passes are going to be everywhere. It's not going to be pretty. There's no preseason for the guy to learn the offense. He only throws for 3,000 yards and it maybe gets to 20 touchdowns. Like, I want Keenan Allen as like a flex in the 5th or 6th round, not as my second wide receiver. Like, man, is there any upside that we're missing here? He's the wide receiver 1. He's going to have 125, 130 targets, or like
maybe. But like, I mean, you just ran it down. In 2015, his leading receiver had 96 targets. In 2016,
76.
his leading
in 2015, 96 targets.
96. Yeah. In 2016, the leading targets was 76. And in 2017, the leading targets was 74. Like, that doesn't support anyone. If you look at I did the exact same thing. The only upside that I see in that offense is that Hunter Henry will be potentially consistent.
Yeah.
That he's shown that he can get the tight end the ball. But even Charles Clay was,
nobody was jumping off
528 yards, 552 yards, and 558 yards. Like he never had over 600 yards. Matchup.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you're going to see the Chargers try to run a Baltimore dollar store or Dollar General offense.
That's what this is. He's the dollar version of frickin' Lamar.
Yeah. And, Tyrod in 2015, he had 104 carries for 568 yards. In 2016, he had 95 carries for 580 yards. In 2017, he had 84 carries for 427 yards. So, theoretically, Tyrod actually is going to be a not terrible bye week replacement from a floor perspective because he's going to have rushing yards.
But we aren't talking about quarterbacks,
No, I know, but right, but that's the only value that's there in that offense from a fantasy perspective.
Him and Eckler, I would argue, but yeah,
correct. And my guy Justin Jackson that I talked about a couple episodes ago, just to plug that in our first Sackos studs and to further plug episode.
Yeah, and to further plug, we also took the liberty of breaking. So, talk a couple little things just about the podcast. We know that for all of our YouTube watchers, watching an hour-long podcast it may be a lot, considering like the average YouTube video length might be like, I don't know, a minute.
People don't have attention spans. Shocker.
They're right. So what we're doing,
I can barely get through recording this. So I can't. I can't imagine people watching it for an hour. Oh my God.
All right. So, but to try in an effort to be a little bit more consumable for the YouTube audience, if you would like to watch highlights and clips, I am taking the liberty of breaking out all of our sleeper candidates because like I just know when I look on YouTube for like at least leading up to drafts is I really only care about sleepers and like the rankings of the top guys. I don't really look for a whole lot else. So what I'm doing is I'm breaking up all of our sleeper guys and I am putting them in their own playlist. So you can just watch us talk through all of them. And no, it's 5 to 10 minute clips of all of our podcasts talking about individual players. So when you get done watching this and you want to watch this, the sleeper playlist, I'll link it at the end of the video. There you go. Boom, zoom. Let's talk some ADP game. Guys going near Keenan Allen in ADP. Again, he's going at 49.5 right now, about 50th overall. He is our consensus 30 wide receiver. I have him ranked at 28. You have him at 32 at the position. ESPN has Keenan Allen ranked all the way up at 22. So a low-end wide receiver too. Guys going near him, would you rather have Keenan Allen or DJ Chark?
Oh, give me all the Chark, baby.
They're going back-to-back. Keenan Allen or DJ Moore?
That's not even close.
Going back-to-back right now. Keenan Allen or Juju?
Juju.
Ranked or currently going 5 spots ahead of Keenan. Allen Robinson.
It's crazy.
Right, like 6 spots ahead. Like all these guys are going right around where Keenan Allen is going. T.Y. is going 2 spots before him. Robert Woods is going right before him. Like, man, I feel bad for whoever doesn't watch our podcasts or other people's podcasts and just end up with Keenan Allen on their team. It's just woof, man.
Yeah, and it's not because he doesn't have the talent. It's just what we think that offense is probably going to look like, and I do not trust them to be able to get the ball to the outside, and that goes for Mike Williams too. Just keep it.
Yeah, I mean, Keenan Allen's going to get moved, and he'll play a lot of slot and stuff, and they're going to get creative in getting him the ball. I wouldn't be surprised if he had a couple of run plays or something, just because they have to get him the ball. Like,
he's a nasty route. Like, he gets open all the time. So maybe there is something there we're not seeing, but I just wouldn't take him.
Yeah, what I am seeing is Tyrod Taylor throwing for 3,000 yards and 17 touchdowns and 3,000 yards and 20 touchdowns and being like, yay, high-flying offense. Give me that receiver.
No thanks.
Right.